Good evening, everybody. So let me make my presentation a little shorter so that we would have more time for discussions and questions. So, in fact, the stage is really set right. Where are we, and what are as global players? What do we bring in to the country, and how do we actually develop e-governance and ICT in India? So, as Mr. Ravi pointed, as Mr. Ivan pointed, see the last mile is where the exact problem starts. Like, how do we collect the data? How do we communicate? How do we provide communication? And the other key points what we were also discussing is that how the projects whatever are happening now are all in pilot stages, are probably in the mid stages of full rollouts. But when it comes to full rollout, data acquisition, okay, because India is a heavily populated country, so how do we acquire data? What are the faster means to acquire data, and how do we actually churn the data? These are all important aspects, or I would rather say the MS aspects of the data what we collect, which will go online on the portals. So today I'm just going to talk about a couple of automatic identification and data capture technologies, how it can help the different projects, like be it be a normal land record management, or be it be a normal e-challan application, how it is going to help us, and what can be the benefit out of it. So there are different AIDC technologies, starting from a one-dimensional barcode to probably the biggest active tags which are present, which could identify where an asset is or where a person is always on time real. So if we would stick to our discussions only on two technologies currently now, because these two technologies have more inroads to any government organizations across the world. One is the smart cards and the other is the barcodes. So I'm just going to probably just give you a brief on where technology can be used and what type of technology can be used. If you look at the key benefits of AIDC, why do we need to use AIDC? First is that it improves operational efficiency, faster and more accurate recording of information. Work in process can move quickly and be tracked precisely. So say, for example, if you need to type in an address, name and an address of a person, it may take around 2 minutes for a good data entry operator to fill the whole information. And when it comes to local language, then we also have challenges. And if the person whoever is typing is not familiar with the local language, then we end up in more issues. There'll be a lot of errors and stuff like that. So how do we correct it? So whenever we issue something, whenever we issue an identity card or we issue something, there should be some automatic identification technology present as in that form of paper or in form of card, which we could actually grab the information very fast. So a 2 minutes data entry job can be reduced to 2 seconds. That's a lot of saving. The second thing is the human errors, the data entry mistakes, what happened. So a normal human being, when they type continuously, for every 300 characters, there is one character error which is there, which gets unnoticed. Okay. Whereas just even takes simple barcode scanners, the error rate is 1:36 trillion. So that's huge. So the accuracy of information what you collect is tremendous. So we have to use technologies like this to actually make things better for us. And if you have all these above things, it improves operational efficiency, it saves time, reduces error. So definitely cost is going to also cut for you. So we all know that how much of time it took for us to get the election cards, voter ID cards. But how much of accurate information is there in the voter ID cards, right? So there were so many data entry errors. We have to again do this. Why all this was happening? So is there a way to correct it? So these things can definitely help. So let us look at smart cards. Smart cards, I think everybody is aware of smart cards now. It can do a lot of stuff for us. It can give you a secure identification. It can be used in financial applications, rural finance. We were talking about rural finance here. Laborers being paid through smart cards. Then store biometric data. So when we store biometric data offline on a card, what is the usage of it? So even when the last mile connectivity is not available, we would be able to still verify whether the person is correct or not. So this is very vital for us, because our reach has to be there in the rural areas. And verify at the point of transaction, that's the key thing, right? So you have your data, it's an offline database for you. So you'd be able to validate the person, you'd be able to pay them the money, whatever is required. All those things are definitely beneficial. And of course, license in RC book, most of the states have implemented already in India. So store information of the driver, offenses of the driver, vehicle information, what are the insurance does the vehicle carry. So these are all normal applications what we all envisage in using a smart card. The other technology which actually when we were talking about leapfrogging technologies, we also leapfrog technologies which would have been very vital for us. A simple two-dimensional barcode which could actually store a lot of information and which is much more affordable, wherein a cost factor comes in when we are trying to actually minimize the cost for a lot of applications. So this might be a technology what we could have or we can look back again saying that we can use this to store a lot of information. So a 2D barcode can save as much as like what a smart card can store, any of the information, and all could be in a encrypted format. Okay, so it can store in a biometric information, an image, or a signature of a person along with binary data or also even voice. So this can be used wherein applications which does not require a smart card. Okay, I will just run you through some of the samples. Say for example, record management, automatic data entry of land records. You don't require a smart card to be given there. Okay, then certificates, issuance of certificates in different formats, like right from a birth certificate or a death certificate or even for that sake, university certificates. All these certificates can have a two-dimensional barcode containing the entire mark list of a person. So the mark list, we hear about a lot of certificate frauds and something like that. So all these could actually get minimized. It can be also used as a cost-effective simple identity card. Then we were talking about logistics. When we talk about PDS, PDS is again an ocean. So we can use simple barcodes and manage logistics better for PDS. Health department pathology, reports, blood reports never get proper, right? So all those things can definitely be managed better. Then when we talk about devices, mobile devices, which are to be used in rural parts of India, where the reach or the last mile reach is not there, we need to also have additional technology on the devices which could help us. So say for example, a small camera on a device. What can it do? Like it can do a document capture for you. It can actually do a snapshot of a person who's ill, a person who's met with an accident, or say when we talk about ASHA workers the rural health workers going to the villages, they could actually video conference back to a health center via this device and stream videos or take photographs and send back to the health center. So all these applications can definitely be envisaged when we have a small camera on the device. Okay, so these a couple of other things like integrated GPS on a mobile device. When we talk about a lot of mobile applications, what is the usage of having a GPS on a device? It can do route accounting, route auditing, breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing is a technology like you found that how effective we can use a device or a person or a vehicle or whatever it is. Then we can do geocoding. Then we could do geofencing. The applications like geocoding and geofencing could actually validate whether the service was rendered to the person or not. And we could archive the location where a person went. Say for example, if you look at a forest area, forest guards go inside, forest rangers go inside, take FIR reports on the forest area. So it can be geocoded so that we would know that there is some infringement happening there. All those type of applications can be looked at. So in nutshell, when we say that what all the technologies which we need to use, these might be some of the AIDC technologies which might come in and which might plug in to the devices to help us acquire data on a better mode. Last but not least, see one more thing when we talk about devices, when we talk about all the stuff, we also talk about what should be a device like. Whether does it need to be really rugged, does it need to be really light, does it have to be homegrown? Let us keep aside all those things. Let us set something like the device has to fetch us a TCO, and the device has to long, because government projects don't get funding always. right? So when we get a fund, like, for a project, the project has to last for 5 years or 7 years. So we have to make sure that the technology invested lasts for this period of time. So it should not be that we implement a technology today and after 6 months or 1 year it's phased out. So hopefully with the bills which is getting passed, we would have that minimum assurance got from the government, and we would have better devices for the rural populace. With that said,